Total Screen proudly presents their official podcast, On Screen, with your hosts, Tyson Gifford and William Roerig. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On Screen, the official podcast of the Total Screen. My name is Tyson.
My name is Will.
And today we have more Zelda to talk about. As always, we have a segment just for that one game. We also have some trailers to go over in our news segment, and we have some stuff that we're looking forward to on the horizon. Shows coming up in the next week or so. Let's get started with that, our On the Horizon segment.
On the horizon.
This week on the horizon, the full Monty is coming to Hulu on Wednesday, June 14th. This is not a remake. This is a direct sequel to the original movie from 25 years ago. This is like Twin Peaks: The Return level, like Return After So Long, or Cobra Kai Return After So Long kind of thing.
Yeah.
25 years old, original cast. Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Then on Thursday, June 15th, Black Mirror is returning for, I believe it's the 6th season on Netflix. And, we're going to be talking about that, later once that's out. So look forward to those discussions. We'll tell you if it's shit or if it's good.
There you go. We're the final word. Don't listen to anybody else's opinion.
Also on Thursday, June 15th, Star Trek Strange New Worlds returns to Paramount Plus. They've recently put the entire first season up on YouTube. So if you don't have Paramount Plus, you can watch the whole first season on YouTube. I don't know. I've heard a lot of really good things about this. I've never been like huge into Trek. I was more like the one Trek I really liked was like Deep Space Nine, and I don't really get any vibes of that from this.
No, this wouldn't be Deep Space Nine vibes.
This is more like original Trek.
Yes, exactly. I do think like Deep Space Nine is probably like the best Star Trek show they ever made.
Yeah.
Because it is different and it is interesting. But
it was much more political and like, because they were in one place, you know?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, the purpose of that show was to put a new spin on the material. But, nothing wrong with classic Trek. And from all accounts, this is a very fun show. I haven't personally seen it. But yeah, I mean, I mean to check it out at some point.
I have to, as we always, whenever we mention Star Trek, with apologies to Koenig. Our friend with the great Star Trek fandom, but who's been very let down by modern Trek. So I don't think he's seen Strange New Worlds either. He's like in the same position as us. He's heard good things and hasn't watched it. Then on Friday, June 16th, Extraction 2 comes to Netflix. I never watched the first Extraction, but recently I've been seeing a lot of stuff like, I watch like a YouTube channel called Corridor Crew, and they have like one of the segments on it is like Stuntmen React, where they have the people who run the channel and then some like stuntmen will be on their couch and they'll watch action scenes like stunts and stuff and go over and show like, talk about like how things were done and stuff. And they did one where they showed some stuff from Extraction, and it looks pretty crazy. And I realized that while Extraction kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people and stuff, what it actually is kind of like John Wick in the sense that it's a movie made for stunts. It's a movie made for action, like largely by stunt people. Like we're like heavily involved in it, And John Wick was one of those things that like when I first saw trailers for, I passed on it and I didn't watch it until it was like on digital, like on cable and stuff. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I'll check this out, and ended up really liking it. So I'm thinking I might give Extraction a shot with Extraction 2 coming out, because heard good things, Russo brothers, Chris Hemsworth. It's free to me because it's on Netflix and I already have that. So might as well. Also on Friday, June 16th, Outlander returns for season 7. That's its penultimate season on Starz. Stan Lee, the documentary movie, is coming on Friday, June 16th to Disney+.
Oh, that'll be neat. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I've seen a few things where they've kind of briefly touched on like Stan Lee's life, but it's mostly been like on his professional life, you know?
Yeah.
And other documentaries are kind of about Marvel more, you know? And a lot of times they would talk about Stan Lee, but they focused more on like Jack Kirby and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to kind of actually see something kind of deeper into Stan Lee. But it's a Disney Plus thing, so I can't imagine they're going to be like very brutally honest.
Yeah, they're not going to be, well, I mean, honest might be the wrong word, but I mean, cause they're probably going to be honest, but they're not going to be very critical of, you know, like some of the rougher edges. They're going to smooth over, or, you know, just like not touch upon.
Nobody's going to review this documentary as scathing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not going to come on and say, Stan Lee stole all the credit from Jack Kirby. And
then had him murdered. Yeah.
No. Oh my God.
But that's coming on Friday, June 16th to Disney+. It'll be interesting, but like I said, there's a lot of controversial stuff around Stan Lee that I remember very early in my comic book days hearing about, you know? And
yeah.
I doubt it's going to touch too terribly much on that. But Elemental is also coming out on Friday, June 16th in theaters. That is the new Pixar movie. And The Flash is coming out to theaters on Friday,
It's looking
June
to be
16th.
like it's going to underperform. Another dud for Disney.
Elemental, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really look that good to me, but I've never been too big into like the Pixar stuff.
Tracking apparently is abysmal, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been too into it, so it's hard for me to tell what's going to be successful from the Pixar side of things because I've never really been all that into it, so I just can't read it really.
Currently tracking for a 28 million to 38 million opening weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty low for Pixar.
Yeah, it's not good.
The movie doesn't really look that great though, so.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it looks like the typical opposites attract type deal, but like, oh, it's fire and water, I guess.
Break out of your comfort zone kind of story, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's doing anything new with the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of boring.
Yeah. The only thing I think that interested me with Elemental in the trailer was there was one scene in the trailer where like, you know, the water guy like went through like a fence, just like because he's water. And then the flame girl like went through it and like burned through it because she's flame. And they were like, why do they even build these things? And I'm like, are they like trying to do like a Splatoon style, like this is a post-human world and humans built up all this stuff and now like humans are gone kind of idea?
No
like,
idea.
is that what they're kind of doing, you know? And that was like the one thing that was kind of interesting to me. And then I like was like, oh yeah, they're probably not even going to address that really. So not that interested, but that's Elemental. And then as I said, also The Flash is also coming out on Friday, June 16th in theaters. Gonna see people go crazy on Twitter about Ezra Miller, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, The Flash. Oh man, like after so much like on Twitter, people saying, oh, it's like this is the best superhero movie I ever watched. This is amazing. I saw like on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like 69%. So I don't know. I mean, not to say like I take critics as gospel because like they could be like completely wrong on this. They are in other movies.
It could also be like which critics have gotten their reviews in, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy about the movie too, and some people are political in their reviews, so that could be a part of it as well. Like, I just don't know. We'll see as like more reviews come in, but it's still early. But I wasn't too excited about it before. It's got a lot going against it for me. It's like the end of the Snyderverse stuff, which I was never really all that into. So it's like that's already against it. All the Ezra Miller stuff is obviously working against it. And then, I don't know, I'm not too terribly excited about like a lot of the concept of the main thing that looks exciting to me is Michael Keaton. But
oh yeah, Michael Keaton looks great. Yeah, I'm not too terribly hyped for this movie, to be honest.
I mean, I'll watch it. I have a movie pass, you know.
Yeah.
I have my Regal Unlimited. I'll go. I'm wasting money if I'm not going to see as much as I can. So might as well. But I'm not super hyped. So that puts me in a good position to be blown away though, because I'm not too excited. So if it ends up being everything that like James Gunn and now I guess like Stephen King and a bunch of other people have been saying about it, then I'll be pleasantly surprised, I guess.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not like Black Adam. That movie was just such a dog turd.
Yeah, really. It's gotta be better than that.
Yeah, it's gotta be. But that's it for our On the Horizon segment. Next up, we have On Beat. On Beat is our news segment. We're just gonna talk about a few trailers that have come out recently. And start things off with Pikmin 4. Everybody's been like, when's the big Nintendo Direct for summer? And you and I have privately talked about saying, like, I don't even know if they're gonna have one. Now there's rumors going around that they will, but like we've been like, for a while now, been saying it doesn't really make much sense for them to. And you and I were both kind of saying we just thought they were going to just release trailers like this,
Yeah. I think we can say for fairly certainty now that at least there's not going to be a Direct in June. Jeff Grubb said on Last of the Nintendogs podcast last night that he's heard rumblings of some sort of Direct in July. I'm going to take a stab and say that that's probably not going to be a full traditional Direct. That's probably going to be like either a game-focused Direct like for Pikmin or maybe a partner Direct or something like that.
There are some partner games that we need some more information on, like for example the Bite and Kaitos remake, remasters or whatever, and then we have Pikmin 4, of course, from Nintendo. But that could very well have its own Direct, or it could just have like a bunch of trailers and other stuff. Who knows? But I don't expect like a full traditional Nintendo Direct. I'm maybe not even for the rest of this year. Like I just don't see them really having.
No, I think there's going to be a Direct in September. I think for sure. I don't think they're going to go like the full rest of the year because that suggests they have nothing else coming out for the rest of the year, and I don't buy that.
I think they just got like DLC. I think that's what they're ending the year on.
I think they got to have at least one more big game.
I don't know.
I can't imagine them going into holiday season with nothing but like DLC for existing games. That'd be weird.
I'll tell you one thing. It's not a spoiler from Tears of the Kingdom, but they say that you can't get all of the stamina and all of the hearts. You have to pick and choose.
Yes. And
so
I looked it up, and that's what they say in the guides, at least.
Yeah. So last time, the only way you could max it out was with DLC.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
By doing the Champions Ballad and stuff. That's how you got the rest of the heart containers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There'll definitely be DLC announced for this game.
Yeah. It was a little weird. I didn't think there was going to be DLC because they didn't have the hooks for it. Like, they had the hooks for it right at launch for Breath of the Wild. Like they had a DLC menu when you opened up the game, and they had, you could buy the pass or whatever, like when it first came out. And they gave like basic pre-order, like bonuses for the DLC, like a shirt and some other stuff you could get that was like specific if you paid for the DLC, like their version of a season pass. That was just really one thing. But if you prepaid it, you could get that stuff. So it was kind of like weird that Tears of the Kingdom didn't have any of that. So like I was like, maybe they're not doing DLC, but like I could very well see them doing DLC at the end of the year. Yeah. I'm like, here's our big thing. It's the thing that we already gave you.
Yeah.
The reason I think that there isn't anything else big is because I think they're wrapping up the Switch. The Switch is going to come up next year, and
they are wrapping up the Switch, but they got at least one more thing in them for the Switch. I mean, most of the development is. I agree. Most of the development is now on the successor. I see people posting, where's the new Mario game? It's been like the same amount of time between Zeldas. That's because Mario's for the next system. They can't talk about that. People are like, where's Metroid Prime 4? Metroid Prime's for the next system.
They already did the Mario thing. People don't recognize it, but the thing is that it's EAD Tokyo did Odyssey. EAD Tokyo also did the 3D World, and EAD Tokyo did the 3D World port to the Switch that had a whole new like mode of Mario. That was the new Mario. That's not because it's the same Mario team. It's the same.
But that's like a demo for a new Mario. Let's I'm saying like a little thing.
That's when people say that like there's been so much time and even Zelda got them on. What about the new Mario? I'm like that was it. That's what you're getting for the Switch. That's the other Mario. Like anything beyond that's going to be on the successor.
People don't realize that Nintendo is generally a one entry per franchise per console generation. company. That's how they roll. You typically only get one Mario Kart game per generation. You typically only get one Mario game. There have been exceptions, Galaxy and Galaxy 2, that happened like once. There wasn't like weird, a 3D World 2 on the Wii U.
Some of them are weird. Like I think 3D World 2 or Odyssey 2 or something like that would have made a lot more sense than Splatoon 3 did. Like that was kind of strange. Splatoon
seems to be an exception. I don't know.
That seems like it should be the other way. Like Splatoon should be like Mario Kart, where it's like, or Smash, once per system. Yeah,
there's one. And without getting into semantics, Zelda typically is. There have been exceptions.
That's more just because of how long the games take to make than anything, I think.
Yeah, but there's been exceptions where the games have been cross-gen, but that has generally been more because of circumstance than any other reason.
And then, if you go way back, the NES ones, the 2D Zelda.
Because Breath of the Wild, I still consider that's Wii U's Zelda game. It was intended for the Wii U, and the Switch is a port. And this, Tears of the Kingdom, this is the Switch's Zelda game.
Yeah, you could say that. I think it's less, when it comes to Zelda, it's less like, with Mario Kart, it doesn't make sense for them to make another Mario Kart because they have one Mario Kart for that system and they can just keep selling it. That's the way Mario Kart sells. It doesn't make really sense to make another one, especially in the age of DLC. It doesn't make sense to do that. But Zelda, it's like a different story. It's not like, oh, we already put out a Zelda, so we won't put it out. It's just Zelda takes forever to make.
They take forever. Yeah, it usually comes out at the end of the console cycle now. Even, it's been that way since the 3D Zeldas, because Link to the Past came out, I want to say like a year or so after the SNES came out.
Yeah.
They never made another Zelda game
before,
for the SNES.
Link to the Past was shown on the box art for the system, for the SNES when it first came out. But on the back, they showed pictures of games. So it's like, it wasn't like it came way later.
Ocarina of Time came out like at the end of 98. Towards the end of the N64's lifespan, because the N64.
Well, didn't Majora's Mask come out like 2 years after?
Yes, it came out in 2000.
So it would have been like halfway through about when Ocarina came out, I think.
Well, the N64 was, I guess, because N64 was like 96 to 2001 when the GameCube came out.
Yeah, GameCube is 2001, that's right.
It's still but the end of 98, almost 99, it still felt like it took forever for Ocarina of Time to come out.
Yeah.
I remember following that development. But yeah, even Skyward Sword came out in 2011 when they were about to replace the Wii the very next year.
Yeah.
So the games have been taking pretty much the entire console cycles to develop.
Yeah, they're big games and they take a long time to work out. It makes me a little bit nervous about when we're going to get Zelda for the next system. Because Tears of the Kingdom reusing the map from the other one, even though they added a shit ton of extra stuff beyond that, but they reused the map, the assets, the systems and stuff from Breath of the Wild, and it took them 6 years. It's like, Jesus Christ, are we even going to get a Zelda on the next system? What's going on? But yeah, man, we went way off topic.
We did.
We were talking about the trailer for Pikmin 4.
Wow. Pikmin 4, it looks cool. I mean,
you get to make your own captain.
You make your own captain and you go and you save the other captains from the other games.
Is this the main mode of the game, or is this like the way the trailer presented it almost felt like it was a different mode? I'm just not sure if this is like
the main mode.
It's the story mode. It's like the main
story
mode. The main mode. Okay.
It didn't go into too in depth in this. This is like more of a tease. It's weird because I felt like the trailer from the last Nintendo Direct was more in depth than this. So this is because it showed
they really didn't show any gameplay or anything. It was I guess if you count the
last
creation gameplay.
The last trailer they did for the Direct showed gameplay. It showed dog.
Yeah,
and,
I just mean this one did. Unless you count character creation as gameplay.
So this is kind of a weird trailer to randomly drop. I know the game's coming out next month, but this is kind of weird to drop this and say, hey, there's the character creator. Okay, see you later. Bye.
I think we're gonna get. We're either gonna get more trailers or we're gonna get Pikmin 4 Direct or both. at some point. I think that makes sense. I think this is something Nintendo's been doing too. I mean, they kind of did it with Zelda, where they have just put out kind of these trailers that don't really give us all that much information, and then they drop another one and it gives us a little bit more, but still doesn't really tell us that much. And then they gave us like a little gameplay reveal, and then they finally gave us like a real actual trailer for the game, like after all that.
Yeah.
So maybe we're going to see something similar with Pikmin 4, where we're just going to get these weird kind of glimpses and stuff, and then maybe a month before the game comes out or less, they're gonna like actually show like something substantial, or they're gonna do a direct, I don't know. But it was weird. Like I said, unless you count character creation, they didn't show any gameplay, which is kind of weird to come after one where they already have shown gameplay. So it's not like they're hiding something really, But I don't know. Pikmin 4, are you excited for it?
Yeah, I'm totally excited for it.
I think I'm spoken for the rest of the year when it comes to games. I don't think I'm going to get Pikmin 4, and it's not because I don't like Pikmin or anything. I'm just like, I think I'm probably going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom for maybe another month, based on like, I'm picking up the pace of what I'm doing, but it still feels like there's a ton more stuff that I want to do. And then I stopped playing Octopath Traveler 2. I need to get back into that, and I'm only like about halfway through that game or less. And then I have like other games that I've picked up that are in my backlog that I want to play. And then I have the Cyberpunk expansion coming this year. And I'm like, I don't know if I have any time for any other games this year. Like, I think I'm already spoken for the rest of the year.
Right, yeah.
So, Pikmin 4 is going to join Luigi's Mansion, I think, for me. Luigi's Mansion 3. That's something that, like, I just can't get around to.
That's fair.
Not because I don't want to, but just because I don't have time. But yeah, that's Pikmin 4. All of that was for the trailer for Pikmin 4. Next, we got trailer for The Outlaws, which is a new movie coming to Netflix, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and,
that looks amazing.
You get the pun of the title?
Yeah, the in-law. I get it. They're in-laws, but they're also criminals. Like, yep.
Did you like the little
pretty obvious
James Bond joke too? And they had in the trailer.
Yeah, it was cute. I mean, it looks like a cute movie. It doesn't look like anything like amazing, but Pierce Brosnan's obviously having fun with it. So
it looks like a fun kind of mindless movie with like a good cast. Yeah. They'll have like a few little cute moments, some funny stuff, and maybe a few cool action scenes too. That is perfect for just like a Netflix original. You just pop on, watch it, and then forget it like as soon as you finish.
Yeah, I saw a trailer. I was like, yep, this looks like a Netflix original, all right.
Not necessarily in a bad way, but not in a good way either. It's just kind of in a, like, watch it and forget it kind of way. We got then a trailer for My Adventures with Superman, which is a Superman series coming to Adult Swim. That's wild to me. It doesn't look like
David
edgy.
No,
it doesn't look like edgy or anything.
It doesn't look, it doesn't look like, it's weird because it's on Adult Swim, and I'm just like, wait, why? This looks like a Cartoon Network show.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of weird, but I mean, it looks fun. It's been a long time since we had a quality Superman animated series, so I'm definitely willing to give this a shot.
Yeah, I mean, to borrow your word from the last one, it looks cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm not expecting something edgy. I'm glad that it didn't look like it's like something edgy, because that doesn't make sense with Superman.
They shouldn't do edgy with Superman. That's what Zack Snyder did that, and it was bad. Actually, Man of Steel is decent, but like Batman vs. Superman was
atrocious. Yeah, no argument here. But that was My Adventures with Superman. Then we got a trailer for Good Omens 2. You watched Good Omens, right?
I did not. I need to watch that.
Oh, you gotta watch that. We should cover that.
We should cover that.
We should do a Good Omens.
We should do that.
I'll do a rewatch. We can talk about that, and then we can do that later. We should do that and get prepped for Good Omens 2, because, man, that was a really fun series.
Okay.
We should do something about that. But yeah, Good Omens 2 looks really good. I'm excited for that. The sense of humor really worked on that, so it'd be interesting to see, because the first series was based on a book collectively written by Neil
Terry
Gaiman.
Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, yeah.
And then Terry Pratchett passed away, and they never wrote a second book, but they apparently were going to. And there were a bunch of like notes and stuff that Neil Gaiman had that were from his conversations. Notes? Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like based on notes so this is stuff that Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman both talked about. doing for a second book, but they never got to do it because Terry Pratchett passed away. So at least it's going to have that kind of authenticity from that. It also means that they probably can't do a Good Omens 3, because they don't have any material from there. Like, it would be just Neil Gaiman doing it. And what makes Good Omens work is the combination of Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, like them kind of contrasting each other a bit. And that's what makes it like work. So I don't know if they're going to do a third one. I don't know if that would make sense, but I'm excited to see another season just because the first one was really good. And the chemistry between the characters was really, really strong. So, but then we got a trailer, another one, a little 30-second tease with, I don't think there was really anything new in it, but we got something else for Secret Invasion.
Yeah, nothing new.
Continues to look right tonally.
Yes, it does.
Like, this looks like it could be one of, if not the best Disney Plus Marvel shows.
Yes. Like, please, I watch the trailers, I'm just thinking, please be good. Please be good.
It has a very Winter Soldier kind of vibe to it, which is still my favorite Marvel movie. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, we got another thing for Ahsoka. This was like the Secret Invasion one, where it's just a really short one after the bigger trailer that we've already gotten. But this one actually showed like new stuff.
Yes, there were new stuff in this one.
Yeah, Ahsoka looks good. I mean, this is probably my last hope for Star Wars.
Again, this is also in the please be good.
Yeah, I haven't really been a fan of the Star Wars stuff for a while. Even like Mandalorian. Even when I liked Mandalorian, it was kind of like, I like it, I guess. I like
Mandalorian, but man, season 3 was incredibly weak. I was surprised. I was like, what?
Yeah, but even when I liked it, it was kind of like, I like it, I guess. Like, there's fun stuff, there's some cool stuff, but at the same time, there's a lot of like stuff that just, it feels like they're just meandering around and there's no real point to it, But Ahsoka's the one that, like, from when they first started showing stuff from it, from when she first appeared in The Mandalorian, I was like, okay, this has my interest. I'm excited about this character and this story. And hopefully it's good. As you said, please be good.
Yes.
But that is it for our On-Beat segment. And those are the trailers we talked about. And that leaves only our final segment for this week, Anecdotes of the Fandom. Again, we're talking about The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and about our recent anecdotes. Last time I challenged Will to finish up a dungeon so we could talk about that, because that was a big thing with Breath of the Wild, was that it didn't have dungeons. It had these divine beasts. And then they announced like, with Tears of the Kingdom, they're bringing dungeons back. Kind of.
Yeah.
So tell us about your dungeon experience. I did the same dungeon.
So I did
share this a bit.
Yeah, I did the Sky Dungeon, which I guess is like the first dungeon you're meant to do, because it's in the Hebra Mountains. Went to visit the Rito and help them out. And it's interesting that there's two components to this. Like, there is the dungeon itself, which is like a big boat where you gotta activate these locks to unlock a round floor panel.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta go around the boat finding like these wind tunnel things to activate the locks.
5 of them, just like the Divine Beast with the 5 terminals.
Yeah, so you gotta find those, and it's alright. It doesn't feel like a real dungeon because nothing like really connects. It's like a puzzle box, because like half the dungeon is just like figuring out how to get to the room that contains,
it's like an exploration puzzle.
Yes, because like everything's walled off and blocked off for each other, and you gotta use spatial reasoning to figure out, you're on a ship. So like you can't get to the room normally, but if I fly over the side of the ship here, there's an open like window or something on the side of the ship and I can fly in from there.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I think I talked about a little bit last week, I think maybe, where I was saying that, or the week before, I don't know. But, I was saying that it feels like a Divine Beast that's just better themed.
Yes.
Like they took a Divine Beast and they changed the wallpaper and made it, so that like instead of them all feeling the same, all the Divine Beasts basically felt like the same thing. They had the same art style, same everything to them. And then this, they kind of said like, okay, well, instead of a Divine Beast that's going to have the same look, aesthetic in every dungeon, this is on a boat. So we're going to make this like a boat and we're going to play up with that thing. They also, instead of just walking up to a terminal and hitting a button, putting your iPad up to the fucking terminal to activate it, they made it so that you have to use the ability of the character that you're tied to in that segment. So I haven't done 2 dungeons. I'm right at the start of a second dungeon. I'm imagining it makes sense to me that that's just the way it's going to be. Like I'm doing the water one now, and I imagine
I think that's going to be like the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then the other part to it was just the journey to the dungeon. It's way up high in the clouds, so you gotta do like a lot of climbing, and there's a lot of like different puzzle solving and using your powers to like be able to get high enough to reach it, which is a journey in and of itself. Again, nothing mind blowing. I wasn't like too impressed with the dungeon. What was cool was like the boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's this giant insect demon or whatever, and it flies around and it shoots spikes at you from its back, but that leaves the back exposed, and you can land on that and crash right through it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fun. You do that enough times, you kill it, but it gets new attacks. It like sends these tornadoes at you.
It's also cool that you're kind of in the air the whole time, too.
You're in the air the whole time you're fighting it. It's a pretty unique boss battle. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that this game seems to have interesting boss battles, because boss battles in the dungeons in the first game were not that interesting.
Here's the thing. I don't think I really miss dungeons like a lot of people did in Zelda. I do miss them a little bit, but to me, the shrines really gave me those puzzles I wanted already, you know?
Yeah, the shrine, yeah, and I think that was probably the thinking, too, in Breath of the Wild, was they clearly wanted to approach things differently. They clearly wanted to do a different take on traditional dungeons, and then have the shrines be like, okay, yeah, this is where all your puzzle solving is going to be.
Yeah, so because of that, I never really missed dungeons too much. The two things that I really wanted them to bring back from dungeons, which I think they kind of did, is one, that whatever the dungeon was themed. Because I really didn't like the whole, in Breath of the Wild, that they were just all the same mechanical beasts, and that kind of got a little old. In Breath of the Wild, like, it wasn't an exciting part of the game. Like, that's my favorite game of all time, but that wasn't, like, part of it that excited me. But what I really wanted was something like, you know, like in Twilight Princess, where they have like the ice temple is like a mansion, and you get to that mansion and then you explore it and stuff like that. I'm like, they need to like theme it, you know, so that like, you don't just have this thing that feels the same in everyone. They need to do something to theme.
They need to be themed. Like, the Divine Beasts were all like the same, like pretty much, just like just different layouts, and because you know obviously they were based on different animals, but like there wasn't any theme to them. Than like, oh, you know, this one's an elephant, or you know, like this one is like, but there wasn't like a real theme to them, and I think that contributed to them feeling bland as well.
Yeah, so I think this kind of solves that. It still feels like a kind of a thin veneer over what a Divine Beast already was, you know, like the way that you still have to do like the 5 things and then do that, which again, I've only done the one, so I don't know, maybe when I do another one of the temples, it'll be radically different. I don't think so, but who knows? But I like that it's themed better, but I think that like they could have done a better job of just kind of making it a different, you know, feel different, not just in the aesthetics, but just in the way it feels, you know, which maybe they did, but based on the first one, it doesn't seem that that's the case. But the other thing that I really missed from Dungeons was the boss, and we already talked about that. The boss is great. And that's, I think, the thing in Breath of the Wild that I missed the most from traditional Zeldas was like big, epic boss fights. And, you know, you had like really hard, you know, bosses throughout the terrain, like Lionels and stuff, that were really hard to take on. And then you have Ganon as this big 3-stage epic boss fight kind of thing as well. But you didn't have like, you know, I mean, most Zeldas have like 8 huge dungeons with like a big boss that fits to your tool that you're using at that time. And that's kind of what we got here, because it's not only did we get a big boss, but we got one where you really have to make use of the abilities of your partner, which is tied to that dungeon. So it kind of is in a sense like when you have to get the weapon in the dungeon to solve the dungeon kind of thing, and then use that on the boss. So we kind of got that in a sense. They even have it so instead of just activating the terminals, you have to use the character's like wind ability to do it. So even that kind of is like, okay, you're kind of reliant on it. They're not really doing anything clever with that, but you know, at least it's kind of, they're doing something to make it feel like that. So I give it progress is what I'll say. It isn't quite the kind of dungeon I'd like to see in return in like the open world Zelda games, but it's much closer than the Divine Beast were.
Yeah.
So that was the majority of your play session from last week to this week, right? Was doing the dungeons?
Yes.
Or doing the first dungeon? Yeah. For me, I'm continuing going through the depths. I think I mentioned that a bit last week, but I'm trying to get around more. It was pointed out to me finally, because I was having trouble getting around, and it was pointed out to me that instead of climbing for like 3,000 feet and and then finding out that like the thing tilts back and you can't go any further, that you could actually use the regular world's overmap to help you navigate, because you can't pass seas. Anywhere where there's like an ocean or a lake or something, you can't pass it. Which I didn't know. I knew that there was like a connection between the shrines and the light roots, like where they were like in the same places, kind of.
Yes, yeah.
But I didn't know about the lakes and oceans being like impassable in the depths. And then that made it a little bit easier to explore now, thinking about that, because I can, you know, look at the regular map and go like, I'll be climbing something and go like, oh, how far does this go up? And then I check the map and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right on the edge of a lake. You know, I can't, this is just going to go up forever and then eventually become a ceiling, you know?
Yeah.
So I wasted
exactly.
20 minutes trying to climb this thing. Now I know, like, okay, I can navigate around this. I also found out that you can make it so that your radar map that you see, like, on the bottom screen while you're playing, you can set it, like, if you're in the depths, so that you're looking at the regular map, like the regular overworld map, and vice versa. So you don't just have to keep, like, going into the menu over and over again to check. You can literally just navigate it by using the other map.
Oh, that's a real cool feature. I like that.
Yeah, so I'm like, that kind of makes it, when I did hit a lake, and I'm like, okay, how do I get around this lake? Because it's really hard to see in the depths, and there's other obstacles that distract you, and I'm like, so this is going to be kind of hard to get around, because I'm like, all of a sudden realizing, oh, I'm back facing the wrong direction again, going against this lake. And then I found out, oh, I could just set it to the original overworld map in my radar, and then I could see, oh, there's water there. I need to go around this way. And that just made it a lot easier to navigate in the depths. So the depths are getting a little bit easier for me. I hunted down a bunch of the bargainer statues and got some, you know, armor sets that are pretty cool. And I still need to find, I think, like 2 more of them. I know where one of them is, but the other one is like, apparently like there's a bigger quest to solving it, and I haven't taken that on yet. But yeah, and that's mostly what I've been doing. I've been going around kind of trying to collect stuff, explore a little bit more. I finally have you gotten the upgrades to your slate yet?
Not yet.
There's a bunch of extra stuff you can get for your slates that was in Breath of the Wild. So it's not really spoiler, but it's some of it's stuff that was in like DLC on Breath of the Wild. So do you mind, can I say or not?
Refrain for now.
Okay, I won't say really what it is, but there's like 3 new things you can get for your thing that they were in Breath of the Wild, mostly through the DLC though, but you can acquire those. And so I went and did those and got all those abilities, and yeah, I've just been kind of exploring, trying to do that, I'm about to start, I think, farming for my armor upgrades, because I went and upgraded about as far as I could, and then I'm like at the point like, okay, I need 3 sets of moblin guts or something for this thing, and I don't have any left, and I need some of these tails from this one creature, but I've been using those up in weapons, so I need to stop doing that so I can start collecting them for my armor sets and stuff. So I'm like at that stage right now where I'm starting to kind of collect a bunch of stuff that I haven't been paying as conscious attention to as I maybe should have.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so that's where I am on Tears of the Kingdom. Like I said, about to start my second dungeon. I'm like, I went through the quest to get to it already. I'm there. I saved it. I just didn't have time to beat it today and this morning when I was playing. But I should be doing that tonight, I guess.
Nice. Awesome.
That's
and I shall be playing more as well. So
that is it for Anecdotes of the Fandom. Next week, we are going to be talking about the Mario movie. So we finally got another full spoilers topic. It's been a while. Zelda's been carrying the podcast for the last couple of weeks.
Poor Zelda.
But we're going to be talking about the Mario movie next week, and then Black Mirror the week after that, and then we're doing Advocates, because we're coming up on our 100th episode, and we haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do for that yet.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about that, and we should have an update for you maybe next week about what we're going to be doing for Advocates, but that's still a little ways off. Still a few weeks out. That's it, though. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm at Tyson Gifford. Will is at Voxel Hero. You can check out our website, thetotalscreen.com. You can go to our website and open up the container story for any of the podcasts to find all the relevant links you need to our SoundCloud page, to our Facebook page, all that stuff. It's all in there. You can subscribe to the podcast through any major podcast client like Apple Podcasts or Pocket Cast. And the entire backlog of our podcast is available on our YouTube channel, along with some older content that we've done in the past, like our Hannibal watch-along videos. You can go and watch Hannibal and then watch our Hannibal watch-along.
There you go. That's a good idea. Do that right away.
Yeah.
Cancel all your plans and just do that.
If you haven't seen Hannibal, you have to see Hannibal. And that's just the way it is.
Exactly.
But thank you, everybody, for listening. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to the OnScreen podcast, the official podcast of The Total Screen. Visit our website at thetotalscreen.com. This podcast can be found on any major podcast client, including Pocket Cast and Apple Podcast. The entire backlog of this podcast and other content can be found on our YouTube channel.